So, all three of you all are licensed therapists? Okay, all right then. I'm glad to be among. Then maybe when I have a meltdown, I know where to come to. I'm surrounded. Okay, I'm good. I'm in good company.
And we are back. It's Speaking with Gravity. I am Curvin.
I'm D.
I'm Ty.
And we're hosts of a podcast that speaks on mental health in our community and how everything affects everything. With every episode, the goal is to have a conversation that's going to make you think, make you feel, make you do what is best for you. I'm a therapist, but this isn't therapy, it's a podcast. And we got a disclaimer.
While we serve as mental health professionals, the information and content being discussed during our podcast is not intended to be utilized or substituted as therapy. The purpose of this broadcasting is to share our personal perspectives through our open dialogue about various content based on our personal, educational, and professional experience.
So this season, we've been doing a pretty good job. We've got a lot of amazing guests that come in. We were intentional about that. We wanted to talk to a lot of different people within the community. Either they're actually living in the community that we live in or they were from here. And just going to get other perspectives outside of ourselves as mental health professionals. And today we have with us Miss Angela Lee, RN. Help me say this, dextologist?
The detoxologist.
Okay.
You just say detox nurse.
I'm just going to say, no, I was about to say, give you a whole nickname, but that ain't going to even sound right.
Detox nurse is fine.
All right. And I'm going to let her introduce herself, give us a little bit more about what's that all about.
Hi, everyone. My name is, first of all, I want to say thank you, gentlemen and ladies, for allowing me to share your platform to be able to drop some major knowledge that's going to impact our life. My name is Angela Lee. I go by Nurse Angie. I am the detoxologist nurse because I have called myself that because I go in the community helping us detox our life. I'm with therapists, so detoxing our mind, our body, and our spirit. But food does help heal. And again, just knowing what food can attribute to us, impacting our life or cutting our life short.
All right. That's going to be a good topic. But before we get into that, we're going to go into our Twitter discussions where we find stuff on the internets and things, and talk about it. Yeah, I said internets and things. There is a popular shirt out now that says, "When this virus is over, I still want some of y'all to stay away from me." What we got to say about that? I'm gonna say what we got to say about that. I'm a people person. I'm good with it. I'm good with people, whether they got the virus or they don't have the virus. As again, I was looking at Dave Chappelle. He's my favorite comedian, and he said somebody came to his table doing the virus with all the H words.
Oh yeah.
Hey, how are you? But I'm good with it. Even if they come to me with the H words, I'm okay. I'm pretty outgoing. I like to talk and engage people, so that's a funny shirt to me. It wouldn't apply to me necessarily, because I like engaging people. But what y'all say? Any one of y'all?
I mean, if you weren't around me prior to the virus, you can still stay away from me. So, I really don't care. I don't know if this virus will ever be over.
It seems like
stay
that,
safe.
Yeah, it seems like it'll never be over, don't it? It seems like we'll never get back to what it was. What you say, D?
Thank you. Well, when I look at this shirt, I take it, I guess, the mental health perspective. I take it to just setting boundaries with people and going into a place of where realizing the toxicity of some people and being in their presence. And so for some people, the virus has been very beneficial to them. Because it causes you to evaluate. Well,
Right.
For me personally, it's caused you to evaluate some relationships and really see and put people in perspective. And it really has challenged you to value people as well, because people are dying daily. So from that perspective, for me, I just think if you're doing it from a boundary place, continue to practice those boundaries. In terms of the virus, I'm not okay with the virus. So yes, you can be in my space, but please keep your mask on. But other than that, I guess I shouldn't say that since we all sitting up here without masks, but in general,
Well, everything has been sanitized,
yes,
and we keep it clean.
In general spacing, I still wear my mask
Right.
for my own safety and the safety of other people. Just
Yeah,
be safe out here, like Ty said. That's it.
Miss Angela Lee.
Well, it kind of goes both ways, depending on if you're a person that like to be isolated. Some people are good at being a loner. I consider myself more of a loner. When I'm by myself, I work better independently, and then I can always come back to the group. But let me go and get myself together and being able to commit to memory, whatever it is that the task that I need to do. Then I can come back and teach. But if you're doing it for whether it's relationships or mental issues, sometimes a long time, like they say, an idle mind is a devil workshop. Mm-hmm. So you can't allow yourself to be so idle and so isolated just because I am a nurse, and this time last year when it was the world was uncertain and I was out in California, and I was staying with a lady, and I just remember going through that feeling of doom because nobody wanted to be around me. Mm. Here I am as an essential worker, but when she found out, she knew I was a nurse living in her town, in her condo, but then when I was telling her about a patient, she immediately said, she cut the conversation off and ran to her room. She's like, do I need to be protected right now? And I'm thinking, you have a nurse that take care of COVID patients. The responsibility. So then that's when it immediately hit me, like, Angie, you're away from home, away from your loved ones. You out here in a stranger's home, and now she done isolated. And again, how can we call ourselves essential workers when we are the front lines of this thing called COVID?
That's deep. That's real deep. QD of the hour.
QD of the hour is just another version of our fun facts. Info for you to be able to give to your family, friends, colleagues, co-workers, or church members. A diet rich in fresh fruits and vegetables, whole grains, and lean proteins can help to improve overall mood and general feelings of happiness. It can also reduce symptoms of depression. Unknown. I think Curvin gathered this information from
Psychology Today.
Psychology Today.
One of those articles. I should. I guess I need to start
citing,
referencing it and citing it. Yeah. Okay. Y'all gonna make me go back to what's it? APA? Oh man, I hated that. I hated that. The introduction for today.
Detoxing has gone mainstream as more and more people seek overall wellness. We should consider detoxing our minds from the false narratives that disrupt our lives and relationships. Can we begin by exploring our relationships with food and overall diet?
I put on here wellness over everything is one in one of my notes. That may be a good topic or title for this, wellness over everything. We're just going to talk about like how we can be better at that. Define wellness. I'm gonna go to you first since this is what you do. Okay. Define wellness in your own words.
Wellness is operating at your highest performance, and you balance with life, that mind, body, and spirit, which means that you're not stressed, you don't easily get rattled when everything kind of going left. And even from your eating habits, and again, because we have to address immunity, because when you're around people that even if they unhealthy, you don't know that, and I heard her say about the mask. I guess because I'm on the other side of the fence, mask really is just psychologically. The mask really doesn't protect you from anything, because again, if this virus, because it's airborne and you can get it from gas pumps. Think about it. They say at the gas pumps you could get this. So even wearing a mask psychologically, it helps kind of give us a barrier. But in reality, we need to make sure our immune system are up. That way, when we do come in contact with people, because we don't know, you can be asymptomatic and still be a carrier. Because I have several people that have tested positive but had no symptoms. How is that even possible? So that just means your immune system you still can be functional and still be carrying this virus. So we still can't play it safe with or without the mask, but just making sure is overall operating at our highest performance.
So that when you say that that mask is psychological, it's more like just making us aware
exactly
of how we can get this, and just keeping it in our mind to be stay away as far as possible, I guess, and then sanitizing and wiping stuff down. So I get okay, I got that.
You agree or disagree?
I can't disagree because I'm not in that field. But I will say it has. Man, I was one of those ones that was against the mask. I remember going to Walmart when this stuff started happening, and they told us to wear the mask, and people had started getting into the routine. And I know one day I looked up, it was me and one other person in there without a mask. I said, I might want to get on board with everybody else. I don't know. I had that sense of being invincible. I don't know where it come from. I don't know why. I was still, at the time, I was working at UPS part-time. So, they were considered essential workers. We never did stop working. And I'm engaging with boxes and stuff like that, and I never had any symptoms. I don't know. I'm not sure if anybody in my family got it, as far as my wife and my kids. And if we did, we definitely didn't show the symptoms. And the times that I've been tested, I haven't had it. So, but I get what you're saying about it being psychological, because once I looked at what was happening in Walmart, it was just me and another person. I was like, all right, I got to wear it. And then once I started wearing it, I started being more cognitive of cleaning up behind myself, wiping down and sanitizing various things. Even in my own house that I was living in, just being extra careful with that. So I get that. I understand that. Anybody else want to jump on that, defining that wellness in general? Besides Miss Angela Lee. How about you, D? No, okay. When I think about wellness, I think about it being, there was one statement that I saw where it says, if you're deficient in one area, it can really affect your life. So we can be good in a whole lot of areas, like social areas. We could be good spiritually, whatever that means. We can be good emotionally. But occupationally, if we ain't got no job, that can really affect people. If you don't, sometimes people that don't have a sense of purpose, they may have a job. I don't know what that would fall in up on the wellness, but if you got a job, you got everything going, but you don't have that sense of purpose, that can really tear you down as well, or not tear you down necessarily, but make it difficult to kind of continue. So I definitely want to put that out there. Recognizing the importance of wellness and reflecting on what your wellness actually encompasses overall. Now, when we're talking about wellness, what are good habits to facilitate overall wellness? Miss Angela Lee, since you're our guest.
I'm going to do a before and I'm going to do it after. Okay. A before, I was just living my best life. And I'm just like, coming up from Abbeville, South Carolina, and I grew up in the country, so I did what everybody else did. I ate what everybody else did. Only until in 2018 I was diagnosed with not one but two incurable diseases. I couldn't understand as a nurse, how did this happen? With me being medically inclined, how did this happen? How did I miss the signs? So only until once that happened to me, and I was on the podcast last night, and I talked about the 5 cycles of grief. We go through it no matter whether it's food, relationships, or death. It's still relationships. It's a relationship with food, relationship personal, relationship with business, relationships. And so after a year, and I tell everybody 365 days, and I count them off because every day, once I got diagnosed, the final diagnosis was a brain tumor. And they told me, the doctor went ahead and prepared me that, Angie, one day you'll wake up and you will not be able to see. He went ahead and prepared me that. I laid back, and I don't know how many of you, but I'm really the more successful one in the family. I'm the visionary. I'm the one carrying the torch because I need my dreams to turn so I can get my family to chase behind. But if the visionary gone and my vision gone, who's going to carry it? So I was left with that burden of thinking, and then the cycle of grief started. I started asking God, why? Anger. Then I started bargaining with God. But God, if you let me do it, then I do X, Y, and Z. No, and I wasn't gonna stop eating my chicken. I wasn't gonna stop going to KFC. Who all like some buffalo wings with some ranch or some blue cheese? That was me. And so I couldn't understand how this health issue happened. But for 365 days, I kept waking up thinking, and I was trapped in that time zone, thinking that this was going to be the day the vision was going to go. And only until I had a speaker coach, because at that time I was doing life coaching, and I was trying to get my business out the ground. And the lady said, well, Angie, we can't do any life coaching because of it's COVID. We didn't know exactly what it was at the time. And I still was having this, I just couldn't relate and accept that title that he gave me. So I went ahead, the diagnosis that he gave me. So I went ahead and I started researching. Angie, if you're going to give your life back, then how can you fight? It's easy to give in, but what can you do to fight? And so that's when I started researching. And all I could see was detoxification. So I had went to an event at the time, and a lady told me that she was healed from thyroid. And so I met her after the program, and I said, ma'am, I was sent here to meet you. I said, you said you was healed. I said, but thyroid is no cure. I'm a nurse, so I'm going from what they said in the book, and it worked. And she said, no. She said her heart rate was 170. A normal heart rate, they're supposed to get from as low as 60 and as high as 100. Hers was beating at 170, and the doctor was able to reverse that. So I said, well, I go to the doctor. I did. The first thing he met me with the price. So when you go into a holistic doctor, they cost more, and you have to pay out of pocket. No insurance, no deductible. He said $3,000. There was the red light, yeah. So I went ahead and I said, no, I won't, I can't do this. I can't afford that. So I left. And maybe 3 months later, and he came back and he told me, no, I went back and he said, Angie, why are you back? And I said, I got worse. And he said, and they gave you more medicine, right? I said, yeah, they sure did. He said, that's what we call the hamster on the wheel. He said, because modern today's tradition medicine has a relationship with the pharmaceutical. Yep. So so now you have got into the rat race, because now you're no longer a healthy person. Now you're a person on the other side. Exactly. Now you're the patient. And so that was the eye-opener for me. And so when he started working with me, he told me to change my diet. He tested, and I'm saying it was worth the $3,000 and more, because at that time when you're desperate and you're in pain, you don't care what the amount of money is. So that's the reason why I try to encourage people that even when they sign up for my coaching program, don't let the money stop you, because you are delaying life. Say I had went blind because I didn't want to give up $3,000, and when I done have looked at it, I done spent over $3,000 on unhealthy food. That's keeping me trapped. But again, I couldn't rationalize the relationship with food. And only until that happened, I was able to get better with food. And he started testing me from every part of my body. He did my saliva. And your saliva has more than DNA in it. It also be able to tell what kind of bacteria you have in your body. So they had me to chew on something like cotton. And as you was chewing, the amount of times you was chewing, it was breaking down the molecules in order for them to test it. They put it in a clear canister. And then, of course, they have to do a stool. They have to test your stool. So those of you, and I want everybody to make sure you go to your doctor, and I want you all to be tested for colon cancer. It is at an all-time high now. Black men, you all are number one. And I remember Black Panther, Chadwick, he died at the age of, I thought it was in between 42 and 44. So you don't have to wait till you get 50 to do a colon cancer screening. You need to go get screened now, because a lot of women and men that's getting tested, they ignore the symptoms. And that's what I'm here to break that.
What are the symptoms? Some
of the symptoms are abdominal pain, blood in your stool, because a lot of people, they go to the bathroom, they don't even look at the tissue. You need to start looking. You need to start noticing the smell. You need to start looking at the shapes, because the shapes matter. And the color, the pigmentation of the stool. Because one lady, she had cancer, and she said her stool was an off clay color. It was more like a pale white or dust gray. So again, you all, we have to know our body. But because we so busy in this microwavable world, we overlook all those things. So I'm out here to spread the new narrative and to unconfuse the people that's confused about it.
Now, there's the person that you was talking about, the holistic doctor. Is he around here?
No, this is in Atlanta. It's over
Okay.
in Progressive.
All right. And how did you find her? You was talking to some.
Yeah, it was a lady that was healed. I went to a women empowerment event,
Okay.
and once she got up and she was one of the speakers, and I knew that God led me to that event. And once I talked to her, and she gave me the information, and of course I went and made my appointment. But again, I could make the appointment, but once he told me what was required, which was the money, I became deaf to the hear that. It was a non-negotiable, which should have been, okay, let me see how I can get it. But my immediate thought, I don't have $3,000, and I ran out. Instead of saying, God, how can I get this? How you going to be able to let me so I can get healed?
So you go to him. Did he give you once he took your saliva and all of that? Did he give you like a diet, or what was that process after you see him for the first time or the second time? I don't know how that goes. But what did he give you? He don't give you medicine.
No, they don't give you medicine. They go by your daily routine, and that's the reason when I get a client, I go ahead and I see what your daily routine is, because everybody's different. Because what she does, you're not doing. What she doing, you're not gonna be doing or used to eating. So therefore, when he walked me down, what's a normal day of you look like? What should they start with? If I start with muffins, if I start with Starbucks, okay, when I'm going to Starbucks, what am I ordering? And then what's a consistent 24 hours, what am I eating and consuming? And so then he started breaking down the foods. And then he started breaking down the risk factors in the food that I didn't know. So I'm just going to say I go to Chick-fil-A. I'm going to get me with a number 6 or a number 8. I'm going to get that chicken nuggets. And what kind of dip do we like? Who all a Polynesia fan? So when I got to Polynesia, and of course when I looked on the back of it, Polynesia contains high fructose corn syrup. High fructose corn syrup is one of the worst that is added in foods, and it's a sweetener, and it's helped to jack up our blood sugar. So that's what the sweet taste come from. So a lot of your food, we were to look at it, and again, that's what putting us at risk for being pre-diabetes, type 1 and type 2. And when I came back, again, even though I knew the knowledge, I still was eating a bad diet, and endocrinologist, because I had to go to start seeing specialists. Because now I got thyroid, now I got a brain tumor, now I got a neurologist and and an endocrinologist, because I want to see the specialist who can help. And again, they still got a relationship with the pharmaceuticals, so they're not trying to make me better. They're not trying to make me better.
So you when you say you coaching, do you do the coaching of like life coaching, or you just dealing with the food and the body?
Yeah, my first business was Angie Metamorphosis Coaching and Consulting, and that's when I was doing life coaching. Because I felt like I had came over some traumatic things in my life, and I knew how to get people from stuck to moving. But then when this happened to me, my life coaching skills went out the window. So it's easy to tell and speak from a place that you ain't never visit. And that's where I found myself, that I could tell you about relationships. I could tell these ladies about cheating men and, going and kick some doors in. I got that. I got a PhD for that.
I was not ready.
I got that. But again, coming from the trailer park and becoming a registered nurse, I come from the rubble, so I can teach and educate that. So that's what I was teaching. I went back to the hood, and I started a nonprofit group called Loving the Skin of Men, and that's how I met your wife. Through my girls group, I went and started exposing them to what I didn't have in the hood. I started exposing them on life skills that I didn't get. That, once I seen somebody that didn't look like me, she was like, Angie, a man I'm supposed to, because they heard a man in the emergency room, he complimented me on my hips. That was normal to me. That wasn't rude. So when she heard that and she corrected me, and I was like, they do that all the time in the hood. Men's gravitating to your body parts. That was new. So I felt like then once I got in it, got exposed to another way of living, I went back to the hood to teach my young ladies different. I wanted them to have another perception of life. So even from me doing the life coaching, teaching these young girls, and being able to get back to where you want to go for us becoming a nurse. And that's what I taught on before the detoxification happened. So the detoxification was given to me last year, even though I was going through it in 2018. Okay. But like I said, I was going through the cycle of grief, so I didn't want to accept it.
So you actually do kind of like both. You do the life coaching, and then you really get into the meat of detoxing I guess physically, like with food and stuff like that?
Yeah, I call myself more of a wellness coach now,
Okay.
because even as a wellness coach, because it's taking mind, body, and spirit. Because where your mind goes, the body's gonna follow. And so only until you accept what it is that you're in, because some of us have unrealistic goals. You know, some of us, we want these things, but we're not doing anything to attract to get those things. So that's the reason why I did mind, body, and soul, because I was stuck. And I didn't have anybody to get me out, but I didn't have anybody that looked like me. The lady, my counselor, she was a white lady, skinny, probably like a size 0. So how could she relate? But when I'm teaching us from a Polynesia, Chick-fil-A, fatback, ham hocks, chitlins, potato salad, macaroni and cheese, green beans. Can the list go on and on? Yeah. So again, I'm teaching us from what we know and familiar with, because it's easy for me to tell you about quinoa, cauliflower, bananas. Yeah, we done heard of it. I never knew what quinoa was,
So how do you change the narrative? Is it through your nonprofit?
No, my nonprofit is more or less was here in South Carolina. Okay. I just kind of like, if I see young girls, I just talk to them. But I was speaking of that before I became this wellness coach, what I was doing in my prior, that's where the life coaching came from with the girls. But I change people's lives now by doing what I'm doing now, getting on podcasts, educating. A couple of months ago, I attacked the black church, and I started with my own, St. James AME. Shout out to my pastor, Courtney, because I started was what we do at homecoming. Those plates are heavy.
What? Fried chicken, baked chicken, macaroni, green beans, rolls, sweet tea, cake. Exactly. And it's good, don't get me wrong, because the beauty of what we were able to create when we were enslaved and to create these beautiful dishes. There's a documentary on Netflix, I think it's called High on the Hog, and it just explores the beauty of African presence here in America and just throughout the world now, and how we were able to really turn something into nothing. And that's the true essence of soul food. Not Southern food, but soul food. However, on the flip side, the things that these food or these items contain, and like you said, the risk factors and the health issues related and associated with that good fried fat bag, that good fried greasy chicken, the macaroni itself. People don't talk about dairy, you know what I'm saying? I mean, people are now talking about dairy and just the negative effects that dairy has on our bodies, particularly black people. That's why I think a lot of black people are lactose intolerant. Again, I'm not a physician, but just doing the work and understanding the body. I'm sorry to interject, but that alone.
Come on with it. Come on with it. Yeah. I mean, I want them to hear from other people, because I want us to be able that at the end of this podcast, I want people to walk away with I came all the way from Georgia, got up this morning about 6:30. I came all this way because I wanted you all to know one thing: your life matters. Mm-hmm. And because your life matters, what you have at the end of that fork or spoon is what's killing us. Mm. And if you do not make it a chance and build a better relationship with food, make it a better relationship with what your hopes and dreams and your goals are, then guess what? You're going to die a premature death, and it's selfish. It's selfish. The insurance lady just left. It's selfish because of how many of us don't make those plans. We're leaving it on our loved ones. The black family, the Caucasian family, they big on with the cremation. The African American family, that's frowned upon. But they're not looking, the Caucasian family looking at the generational, the wealth, the inheritance, where we looking at, oh my goodness, who gonna get, what's gonna get left over? Who's gonna take the radio? I mean, simple stuff that you can go and replace. We're not doing, exactly. We're not doing no generational, no generational wealth. So again, that's where I'm coming in at. It took for me to leave South Carolina. It took for that diagnosis to happen to me in order for me to get myself back in alignment with what was needed.
Tell me about this 21-day detox program that you...
The 21-day detox program is a program that I made up, and I did 21 days because statistically it is proven that if you do something for 21 days, you are most likely to continue the habit. It's a new habit. And so once I researched it, and I was like, okay, let me put something in the plans. And I started a group, and at that time, I did just a beta test on a lady. And I had like a group of 11 people in the group, but I was like, girl, you know, you're telling me to do it. So my husband was like, well, wait till you get results before you go and tell other people. I said, well, I have got results. I just gained the weight back. So I'm just starting again, and I just want some company. So a lady from out of Clarksville, she joined. She was at risk for high blood pressure, and I asked her, I said, well, I need you to follow this to the T, what I've been giving you. And she did. So when she followed and she was able to get results, she went from 214 down to like 214 to like 198. And I was like, God, if you just give me just one. And out of those 11 people, she was just that one. She was really like just that one. Because a lot of people say, hey, I didn't take it serious because, again, I help you remove meat out your diet. You have to be able to give your diet a chance to rest. And I pulled up a picture of just like, I don't know if y'all got YouTube. Is this going to be visual too?
Yeah, it's going to be visual.
Okay.
I don't know how it's going to capture.
Okay. Well, anyway, this is just a picture of the regular body. Okay. Many of us don't drink enough water. And if you were to pour water into a hollow body, how much water do you drink? Do you drink enough just to cover your toes? You need to drink enough water. Yeah. So if you monitor your water intake by your body part, and so if you're drinking and you want to drink, most of us not drinking enough to our ankles, you can't function like that because your body is made up of almost 80% or over 80% of water. Your eyes, the earwax, your saliva, your nose, the moisture in your nose, the body fluid from men and women, the semen and the discharge, this comes from your vertebrae, your joints in your knees. We need that water. So when we're not able to get it in your blood, if you're not able to get it, it's costing us to go through dehydration. African Americans, we're number one. Other races have it too, but we number one with running with vitamin D deficiency. Mm-hmm. And a lot of us, you know, they think, oh, I go and get some sun. No, we're not gonna stay out there and soak up that bush. You know, I mean, some of us is thinking, but guess what? That's all we know. Right. So that's why I said I'm out here to break the narrative to what it is that we know. And again, the 21-day detox, I'm educating you on what the importance is. I'm educating you, just like she said about dairy. The reason why dairy is so bad is because we're going to break down a cow. A cow, what is it eating? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it being raised? So again, we're going to say you have this cow, and you raising it. What you going to do in order to preserve it till you get to the sale? How you going to be able to, what are you feeding it? Okay, that's right. I'm saying anything you can, but in case he start looking a little puny, what you gonna inject him with?
Steroids.
Okay, steroids, pesticides, anything to kind of make him. Okay, you got what tree? Is it tree? Is it? Okay, say you the sales, you the butcher. So he has the cow for sale. He already butchered. So now you coming with the cow, and I'm coming to purchase. What you gonna do? You done got the cow, you got the butchery, you got the cleaning. So in order for him to stay beefy red, what you gonna do? I love it. So again, once she done injected again, so when it comes to, what's your name?
I'm Ty.
Okay, Ty. So you get it, and now you the consumer. You have bought it, and now it's Thanksgiving. You get ready to put it on your table, but guess what? It was a sale. It was a sale. It was a sale, so it ain't quite Thanksgiving yet. So in order for you to preserve it till it get to Thanksgiving, what you gonna do with it? Put it in the freezer. That's right. Put it in the freezer, and that's on. So now you have already enclosed all the steroids from these two people injection, and now you done served it to your family. Now that cow, say the land that he was on had bad soil that he was eating, and it had cows can catch cancer too. Now don't think it can't. So again, we eating all that, and you wondering why our little 10 to 13-year-old looking like grown women were developed with breasts, boobs, face start changing. And then guess what we're going to do? We're going to inject them with something else called birth control, these implants. Run that back. People don't want to talk. I'll stop right there.
You didn't have to.
I can stop right there.
So how much... Lord have mercy. How much water do we need?
You go by
and would that water offset? Like you just gave us a scenario of injecting meat with all of this stuff, right? Mm-hmm. So is that water going to combat that? Is that going to counteract that? Or I simply got to get it out of my...
You simply have to get it out. But the reason why I want you to drink your water or increase your water intake, it goes by your weight. So you do a calculation of your weight divided by 2.2, which is giving you your kilograms, and then you have to multiply that. And I don't know, I can send you the thing, I send it to you in your inbox on just the measurements of how much water we need to be drinking. Bless you. And because most of us are not drinking enough water. So again, it affects the entire body. So when you ask what wellness is, it's head to toe. Because ladies, our hair, not you now, but us.
I ain't got none.
So for those for our hair, it's a scalp detox. Being able to nurture your scalp, drinking enough water when it's dry, it's brittle. Those things that I didn't know, that even when I was going through the questionnaire, when you go to the doctor and you have a questionnaire, those questions symbolize. But the thing is, I was answering all my questions wrong. When she said, Angie said, are you having any hair loss? I was like, no, because in my mind, hair loss meant bald spots. Right. Hair loss meant in her, what she was saying, that's it. So when she was telling me, she said, Angie, what about your nails? I did notice that I went to the nail shop and got some S&S. I normally don't, but I did. And I noticed that when she took them off and she was filing, it was hurting. And that's because the nail beds were so thin. That's what brittle nails are. I thought it was talking about the breakage. I didn't know she was talking about the nail bed itself. So that's when, ladies, we want to use some vitamin E or natural vitamin E. Don't, even that Walmart stuff, make sure it says 100% natural on all your herbs and oils. So that's the reason why my 21-day detox program is necessary, because I'm teaching you these different things, from the kind of oils, the kind of herbs, what you need to be doing the food swap on, and being able to identify high fructose corn syrup, because it's a zillion names for sugar. But if you don't know it, and I'm going to break down Splenda. Everybody think they doing good with Splenda. What? Splenda has the word dextrose in it. Dextrose is what we give people who are in a comatose coma for high their blood sugar done got too low. And you putting it in your coffee every day, or your sugar. Say it, sis. Say it.
Probably 2 times a day if I'm drinking coffee in the morning, maybe sweet tea for dinner or lunch. If I want to have a sweet potato, I think I got to still add some extra sugar. Well, let me get stevia instead of something else.
That's right. But stevia in the raw, that's what we'll swap it for. So I'm going to take Splenda from you, and I'm going to give you some stevia in the raw, because most people don't know about it. Or they'll say it's expensive. No, what's expensive is that when you sick, tell me, when you sick, what happens? You done lost a day of work. Yep. You're unproductive around the house. Yep. Okay. And now, when you're not working, no money. Mm-hmm. That's what's expensive. Eating healthy is not expensive.
Thank you.
Eating healthy is a lifestyle that you should say, hey, because guess what? Now since you have changed your diet, now you have more energy. Now you can do a couple of other things and be a bum in the bedroom, because now you have more stamina. Now everything, because of... Because of
certain things affect the limbo.
The
I just processed. I thought you said bomb as in B-U-M, but you were saying bomb as in B-O-M-B. You could be
bomb as in
bomb.
The bomb.
Okay. All right. I'm slow today. My bad.
No, I was just saying, because people didn't know. I didn't know all those things affect food had effect like that. I didn't realize neurotransmitters in the brain, as far as talking. Serotonin is operating in the stomach. But that's also what you need to tell whether you ready to go to sleep. So again, melatonin is another one. I highly suggest people not, it's natural. Yes, it's natural in the raw form, not when they have added things to it. You want to get things that's natural. And that's a lot of things that we haven't been educated on, that if you're going to take it, if I'm taking meat from you, because in my 21 days you're not allowed to eat any meat, no shrimp, none of that. We doing a complete cleanse, and cleansing your liver, your kidneys, your blood, your veins and your arteries. And the reason why we're doing that is because everything has a plaque buildup. And so just think about, like I said, even like the intestines, your intestines, the average person can have up to 21 pounds of stool in their colon. So you might go to the bathroom, but you might not empty. Yeah, right. And so if you're not emptying, guess what? It's left over to the next time you have a bowel movement. Guess what? Most of us not going to the bathroom every day. So that means that you can go and have you a complete cleansing, but when you on the 21 days, you have to use the bathroom every day. If I want to know why. I want to know what you're eating.
I think it's big on, too, what you said, the term wellness and just that mind-body and, of course, spirit connection, but really that mind-body connection. Like when you talk about just like our intestines and things, I know there are more studies coming out to confirm here in the West anyway, where our stomach is like another brain. You know, when you talk about like neurotransmitters and things of that nature, and just our, I guess the relationship we may have with food and things, when you talked about like the 5 stages of grief, and for those who don't know the 5 stages of grief: anger, bargaining, denial, acceptance, and depression. And you can bounce through any of those stages at any given time. Where was I going with this? I lost my train of thought, y'all. We gonna come back to that. But yeah.
But that's good stuff. And that's good is what you're saying, because the brain, the gut does operate like that. And a lot of times, that's what the money that I paid is what he broke down to me. That all the things that I have neglected. Because when I was 40, I was at that prime of my life. Came 42, things changed. So, last night I discussed about the different age developments, because people want to know, Angie, what happens, what we need to be looking for till they get 50. But you might not make it to 50. What we need to do now.
Right.
What are we worried about? When you have a 10-year-old, 10 to 18, and I'm sure what you all do, 10 to 18 to 21, you worried about suicide. You worried about gangs. From the time they get up, start driving, and of course we worry about guns. It really at any age. By the time you're 20, from 20 on up, you're learning about STDs, or they call them STIs now, sexually transmitted infections. So you worried about alcohol because they drugs. Back here not too long ago, those shrooms were real high with the mushrooms. I seen a lot of that in the ER. So they college age, so of course they taking on the environment and the peers. And then when you have the men, those of us in their 30s, we trying to relive. We don't want to age, but we still want to be young. And guess what? We still keeping that same activity of sex up, the drinking up, boozing. By the time you hit 40, now you're like, oh, well, now what do I do? Now you're trying to make sure you got that life partner in case my life start deteriorating. And then, of course, when 50 and up, you more worried about, okay, how am I going to spend the rest of my life? And you got to worry about colon cancer, prostate cancer. But those things you still need to be, 50 is the magic age to go get tested, but those things need to be on concern early.
So it really should be, you say it's the magic age of getting tested at 50, but in all actuality, we should probably be getting tested now, before 50.
Well, I'm saying, no, do things, because what I teach, I'm teaching you all preventive measures. I like people to come to me, like if they have high blood pressure and diabetes, because I have, my program have reversed some and took them off the list, and being able to give you a green report card. A green report card meaning that before you met me, you was in the red, but when you met me, you got a check mark. And so that's what I help. I help you with balancing and detoxification from the inside out. So I know they have the misconception of teas and supplements. No, I'm actually helping you based off the food that you're currently eating.
So how can people get in contact with you? How can they get their hands on your 21-day detox program?
Okay. Of course, on all social media platforms, it's the Detoxologist Nurse. I'm Angie Lee on Facebook. You can always inbox me. And you can also text the number 833-370-1608. That's 833-370-1608. 1608, and in the message you're gonna put in detox to live, detox the number 2 to live, all one word, and you will get a checklist. A checklist will be able to show you, do you have any of these symptoms? And I'm pretty sure you do. And it's because a lot of people want to know, hey, do I need to detox? And especially like small frame. Oh, I don't need to detox. Everybody need to detox. Everybody need to pause their body to give your gut a break.
Is there anything that you wanna? Anything y'all want to say or add, or anything that you want to leave with us as we kind of head on out of here? Anything that we don't know that we should know?
You got anything to add?
Because you gave us a lot.
You gave a lot. Yeah. I think you from our first interaction, you have done that, and it, it's just amazing. I mean, the information that you have. It's mind blowing, and it's just a commitment that I can speak for myself, I need to make in terms of just living to live, and not just existing. So great information.
I'm gonna have to reach out to you, get a cleansing. You say even though I got a small frame, I still need to be cleansed. Okay. I don't like how you said small frame, but we're gonna bypass that.
Well, you do have a Clemson Tiger shirt on, I'm a game cock over here.
Okay, so you had to hit me. We barely won.
I guess I did have one question. So, is your detox? Is there a certain age limit on detox?
No, the youngest one I have helped, she's been 16 years old, and I don't call her the oldest one, but I call her young, and she's been 80 years old.
Okay.
And they 80 years old. She was able to. She lost 26 pounds, and she was able to reverse her diabetes. She came off metformin. So yeah.
Awesome.
And these are all natural. Everything that I teach, and I just show you a picture. That, those who can follow me, but even my smoothies they are all non-dairy. Everything is just natural ingredients. And so with them being natural ingredients, that meaning making you have a better relationship, because if you're getting up thinking, oh, it's just a bland green or smoothie, no, I take the work out of that, because you can blend by color. If you like red, then we can find our red things to add, but we have to add fruits and vegetables to give you your fiber, your antioxidants. And again, I want you all to be able to boost your immune system, whether you get vaccinated or you don't. What are you doing in reference to that to boost your immune system naturally? I wasn't vaccinated at the time. My mom, my sister, and my niece, who's a nurse, they were all vaccinated. And we had my little nephew went to the daycare. He came back sick. Guess what? All of them got sick, and they was vaccinated. But you know who wasn't? He slept with me. And I showed my class. I said, that's what I'm telling you, having a powerful immune system. That's what it does. It keep your immune system up. It has the what they call them, the army. It has the army on guard at all times, and that's what you want. You don't want, even if you come in contact with it, you want it on guard all the time. So even if you came in contact with me, you should say, well, you know what? I dropped my smoothie. I know I'm good.
Right.
Yeah, so that's the thing. If we're going to put more bad, and I'm going to say I don't always eat good. And like I'm in South Carolina, so I'm going by my mom's. So, the last time she put me out because I was picking up things like whipped grape jelly, it's bad. It got high fructose corn syrup. And I want y'all to start looking at the labels. That's the main thing. I want you all to look at the labels and being able to read. When you see high fructose corn syrup or really corn syrup, it is like motor oil. And we putting it in our body. Like I said, that's the difference between my classes, is I'm giving you that visual, but I actually had a corn syrup pouring it, and then you see how long it takes, and you wondering why we diabetic. Think about everybody in their family, I would assume, has a diabetic in their family. Have somebody that got their legs or amputation done, or somebody that's going blind. Those things are reversible. You don't have to die premature death, and that's what we're doing.
Are they giving this information in the hospital, or
No.
they just giving you the medicine and that's it?
That's it. That's why I felt bad.
They don't even discuss it?
That's why I felt bad, because on the discharge paperwork, I'm just reading off, do your follow-up. But if you coming in the door and they looking at you and being able to put you in a frame, and they say you came to the doctor and they say, oh, Miss Sarah's been over here before, and guess what? He still got these headaches, but he ain't quit drinking. Now it's a revolving door. Now you label us a non-compliant patient because they told you what to do. They gave you a resource and you didn't do anything. So now you're going into, not saying that they don't care, but now think about it. A doctor is just a job. Being a nurse is a job. We clock in, we clock out. Some of us don't get a break. I don't get a break. So that's the difference.
I was just going to say, just the importance of understanding the pharmaceutical companies and the industry within itself. Like, it's still a business, and just being mindful, like she said, too, reading the labels. If we can't even pronounce the things on those labels, do yourself some service and let me Google what they say. I can't pronounce, but I don't know. And being mindful, too. I could be completely biased and wrong, but the FDA will slap a label on things, too. Again, it's a business relationship. So if I know that people over here in this industry is promoting this particular product, and if we can work some type of alliance or business agreement out, yep, FDA approved. How do we really know, though? A lot of times, too, I don't think we question the things that are put in our face because they say it's right. Well, who is they?
And why they say it.
Right.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said that, because the FDA, in order for you to meet like some of the criteria on the guidelines, and when we seen what happened with the people that had a lot of money, from President Trump and all the rest of them, when they have money, you're able to move differently. So if you're able to move differently, and that's my friend, and guess what? All I have to do is just add low fat on there. It's not my choice. It's not my fault now if you went ahead and eat it. But I put low fat on there. That doesn't mean I can't add my sugar. That's not my fault if I put low sodium on there and you still gonna get that can of chicken noodle soup. Can of chicken noodle soup has anywhere from 380 to almost 700 worth of sodium in it, and you wondering why? And let's go back to the family reunions. Look at, the church. So go back to it, and what are we eating? What are our plates filled with? That's what. Just build a plate. When you build a plate, what are you putting on there? Just build a plate for me, sir. So, because you're going to run me out of here after a while.
Yeah.
I'm guilty as charged. I love chicken noodle soup. And you're right, it do got a lot of sodium. I also like salt, too. So that ain't even making it no better, because I like that, plus I like to add salt, too.
Then some like add hot sauce, all that sodium. I got fried chicken, fried beef.
And that's the reason why that's the reason why every speaking engagement I go to, I always tell them to build a plate. Because if I let you build your own plate, then I can break it down and show you what you're doing to contributing to your health. Because, again, I see Sweet Tea over there. I can pretty much tell you.
You had to tell everybody, but go ahead.
I see Sweet Tea over there. Like I said, I'm home, so I know that's what's going to be on the table. But if we look at it, how do we make it?
Yeah. I think
Sugar
it's,
in the tea bag.
Thank you for calling me that. I don't want to be in judgmental, but I'm just saying.
I think it said low sugar, but it's sweet tea.
It's sweet tea. So that's what I'm saying. But mindful that white sugar is called refined sugar. It leads to Alzheimer's. If you're wondering why we having brain fog, dementia early.
Wow.
It's people that's in their 50s getting dementia.
Yeah.
So it's no longer saying, hey, I had a patient the other day that was 104. That lady still walked and talked. That's the point that I'm trying to prove to everybody. If God gonna allow you to be on this side of earth, don't you want to do it healthier and be able to do it independent? That's the thing. I don't want anybody pushing me. I want to be able to run with you.
It's crazy because me and my wife, we looked at some documentary last year. It was Christmas Eve. We watched it, and then we said, "All right, we're going vegan," and she has stuck to it all the way. Me, on the other hand, I slip up all the time. It ain't really no slip up. If I'm away from her, I'm gonna eat some meat.
Yeah.
I'm gonna eat some macaroni and cheese.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do all of this stuff that I ain't supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
But I will say at our house, she does a great job. Like, she read all the ingredients. She done took away dairy and all of that stuff. But listening to what you're saying, and that really hit me when you say people 50 and they getting dementia. That's crazy. Because of what we putting into our body. So I'm gonna be more cognitive of what I do.
The goal is to unlearn and relearn. You know what I'm saying? Once we become aware, all right, now that I'm aware of this information, how am I going to apply it to my life? And holding ourselves accountable. It isn't easy. I'm a vegetarian, but I'm just sitting here harping about dairy. I'm a vegetarian, though, meaning I still consume dairy products.
Exactly,
you know?
exactly.
And I'm guilty as charged, too. But I think the more conversations we continue to have by experts in the field who particularly look like us, it can be easier, but we have to be the ones to debunk the myths. Healthy food is expensive. Says who? When have you really gone to the grocery stores and shopped outside the house? That's another thing I learned too. If you just visionary a grocery store, you got produce out here, you got the dairy and other things back there, but in the middle, all processed, refined foods. They're shelf life items. They're made to stay on the shelf for an extended period of time, but the additives that are added for these shelf life items, are they really for us to consume in our body? Then we can talk about the genetic makeup of the different people, you know, here in the different parts of the world and certain things they're supposed to consume, but I digress. I'm grateful for this conversation, Ms. Angela Lee.
Yeah, thank you for coming out talking with us. Hopefully we can do it again, because I think you left a lot on the table that you want to give us. But we only got so much time. But hopefully when you come back in town, we can link up again and you can give us some more information. This is really
it's gonna be live next time. Next time I'll make a smoothie live.
Live.
Oh,
okay.
I like that.
Okay. All right.
Because I want you all to see the difference. Because again, if you haven't been introduced, then it's easy to put that barrier on it. Because I'm not a full vegetarian. I'm more of a flexitarian because I flip back and forth too.
Okay.
I haven't fully transitioned, and that's just because my husband in the house, and when he cooking beans, fatback is in there. And I'm like, man, you know I can't have that.
Yeah,
but it
yeah.
smells kind of good. Let me have some. So I'm just saying, it's hard when you are trying to, stay on that track. But I teach off of a vegetarian 21-day detox because you have to be able to get to that point. And again, I didn't even touch on ramen noodles or the pasta that we put in. And again, my father was in prison and he was so weak and he was trying to tear them open. And they were still there the next time that I went to see him. And there was like months in between, and those ramen noodles were still there. Ramen noodles, whatever you want to call them. But again, we're in the having process that we were feeding this. And we getting this to our kids, meaning it's putting holes in our lining of our intestines. And again, this with every college, that's a struggle meal. They everybody give that to their children. So again, that's how come our kids, a lot of them, ADHD, autism, all these things are still associated with the diet.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Everything affects everything. It really do. Thank you to everyone that has liked, shared, or supported us. Thank you again for coming out and blessing us with your presence. For the people that are watching or listening to us, if you have any show ideas or anything y'all want us to talk about, just shoot us a DM. We were talking about that earlier. Just go to the DM, drop it in there, and we'll try to figure out through our connects, or maybe just reach out to people and see if they can come on and be on the podcast. Again, I also do a monthly wellness meeting with BIPOC men. And then if you haven't, subscribe to Gravity on Facebook, on Instagram. Be a part of the movement to increase mental health awareness within our community. Thank you to Mr. Winston for audio and visual productions. Thank you for taking the time to listen. You could be doing anything, but you chose to listen to us, to watch us, and we appreciate that. We are therapists, but this ain't therapy. It's a podcast.
I'm the badass coach in these detox streets.
Yeah, you said that.
Well, I ain't want to.
While we stopping and let you sneak that in there.